各位小朋友，大家好啊！喺故事開始之前，我哋咧先介紹下阿拉斯加呢一個地方。大家見到圖片呢一度中間就係地球最北邊嘅北極，咁喺下少少呢度就係阿拉斯加啦。呢度咧就係白令海峽同埋落姆港，就係我哋呢個故事發生嘅地方啦。咁而家呢個地方咧就已經係屬於美國㗎啦。嗰度咧有好豐富嘅石油資源。好，讓我哋睇下咧，而家故事落嚟係嘅發展係點啦。
Chapter 3: A Race Against Time.
第3章與時間嘅賽跑。
The Alaskan boy looked at Jack and Annie. They can't delay, he whispered frantically.
嗰個阿拉斯加男孩睇住傑克同埋安妮，佢哋唔可以再耽誤啦！佢急切咁樣小聲講。
It sounds like medicine is on the way, Jack said.
聽起嚟救援物資就要到啦，傑克講到。
Trying to calm him. Just
試圖咧讓佢咧感到安心。
wait until the storm passes.
等暴風雨過去之後，物資就會送達㗎啦。
But it needs to get here as soon as possible, said Oki.
但係呢件事必須要盡快送到嚟呢度啊！奧基講。
The doctor said, started Annie.
但係醫生話，安妮開口講。
The doctor can do nothing until the medicine arrives, said Oki.
醫生話做咩都做唔到啊，除非咧喺藥物抵達之前，否則醫生咩都做唔到啊。Oki 講。
Oki said, but there is something I can do.
但係我可以做一啲嘢喎。
He headed down the hall and hurried out the front door of the hospital into the dark.
佢沿住走廊走去，匆匆從醫院嘅正門走出去，走入咗黑暗之中。
As he left, a gust of frigid air blew into the waiting room.
當佢走嘅時候，一陣冰冷嘅風吹入咗等候室裏面。
What's it? Annie said to Jack. What?
就係咁啦，安妮對傑克講。
What? He said.
乜嘢啊？佢講。
Our mission. Help save the lives of these sick people.
我哋嘅使命啊，幫助拯救呢啲病人嘅生命啊，安妮講到。
Annie said. That's why Merlin sent us here. I think you're right.
呢個就係點解梅林要送我哋嚟到啦。我覺得你講得啱啊，傑克講。
Said Jack. So let's talk to the doctor and nurse and find out what we can do.
咁我哋就去揾醫生同埋護士傾下，睇下我哋可以做啲咩啦。
No, we should go, said Annie.
唔得啊，我哋要走啦，安妮講到。
Go where? Asked Jack.
去邊度啊？傑克問。
Go save Oki's life first, Annie said.
先去救奧基嘅命啦，安妮講到。
But he's not one of the people in danger, said.
但係佢唔屬於嗰啲處於危險之中嘅人喎，傑克講到。
Jack. He will be. He's going to do something crazy. I can feel it.
佢會㗎，佢肯定會做一啲瘋狂嘅事嚟啊！我可以感覺到呢一點啊。
Said Annie. Come on. She took off, down the hallway and out the front door.
佢呢話快啲啊！佢沿住走廊跑出去，從前門走咗出去喎。
Jack followed her into the icy cold.
傑克呢跟喺佢身後，亦都走入咗呢個冰冷嘅環境當中。
The moon was full and bright overhead.
嗰個月亮呢係高高懸掛喺空中，明亮而且圓潤。
There, said Annie.
喺嗰度啊，安妮講。
Before Jack could stop her, she took off after the Alaskan boy. Oki, wait, she shouted.
喺傑克仲未嚟得及阻止佢之前，佢就追住嗰個阿拉斯加男孩跑咗出去啦。奧基，等等啊！佢大喊道。
Jack hurried after Annie down the moonlit boardwalk.
傑克呢緊隨安妮沿住篩滿月光嘅木板路直行而去。
When they caught up with Oki, they were panting, their breath billowing into the air.
佢呢就追住嗰個阿拉斯加男孩出咗去，話等等啊！當佢哋呢追上奧基嘅時候，兩個人已經係氣喘呼呼，呼吸嘅氣息都隨住風飄散喺空中啦。
Stop, said Annie. We want to help you.
等等啊，奧基！佢大喊道：我哋係嚟幫你㗎。
How can you help me? said the boy. He kept walking.
你可以幫我啲乜嘢啊？男孩講到，佢繼續往前走。
Annie and Jackie fell into step beside him. We came to Nome to help people fight the epidemic, said Annie.
我哋呢嚟落姆呢係為咗幫助人們抗擊呢一場嘅疫情㗎。
Only the medicine can help, said Oki.
只有藥物可以起到作用㗎咋。奧奇話。
They might all die soon if they do not get the medicine.
佢哋如果唔再服用呢種藥物，佢哋可能好快就會死去㗎啦。
Why can't they bring the medicine here by boat?
佢哋點解唔可以用船將藥運過嚟啊？傑克問道。
said Jackie. The sea is frozen, said OK. Just look.
海面都結冰啦，奧基講到，快啲睇下。
Well, what about a plane? said Annie.
咁樣坐飛機又點啊？安妮講到。
No plane can fly at 40 or 50 degrees below zero, said Oki. The pilot would freeze.
飛機喺零下40或者50度嘅低溫環境係冇辦法飛行落去㗎。奧基講到，飛行員會凍僵㗎。
Oh yeah, you're right, said Jack.
係喎，你講得冇錯啊！傑克講到。
Planes in 1925 must still have open cockpit, he thought.
佢心裏面諗，喺1925年，飛機嘅駕駛艙肯定仲係敞開式嘅。
A car, said Annie.
一輛車呢，安妮講到。
No roads in winter, said Oki. The only way to Nome is by dog sled, over the mail trail.
冬天冇路可以行啊！奧基講到，去落米城嘅唯一途徑就係乘坐狗拉雪橇，沿住郵政專用道前行啊！
So what do you plan to do? asked Jack.
咁你打算點做啊？傑克問道。
I will take a team of dogs and find Gunnar Casson, said Oki.
我呢會帶住一隊嘅獵犬去尋找古爾納爾卡森，奧基講到。
I will travel through the storm and bring the medicine back myself.
我會頂住暴風雨前行，親自將藥物帶返嚟啊！
But what about that blizzard?
咁嗰場暴風雪呢？傑克問。
asked Jack. The one the mayor was talking about, the huge blizzard sweeping down from the Arctic.
嗰一場呢喺北極捲直而嚟嗰個巨大暴風雪，咁點算啊？
Any good musher with a good team of dogs can handle a blizzard, said Oki.
任何優秀嘅訓犬員，只要擁有一支訓練有素嘅狗隊，就能夠應對到暴風雪啦。
Where's your team? asked Annie. My
咁你嘅隊伍喺邊度啊？安妮問道。
Uncle Joe is a mail carrier, said Oki.
我嘅叔叔呢係一名郵遞員嚟㗎。
He has a team that runs to Port Safety and Solomon and beyond all the time.
佢有一個隊伍呢，一直往返波特薩菲同埋所羅門群島等地㗎。
So you, Uncle Joe, will go with you? asked Annie.
咁係咪即係你嘅喬叔叔會同你一齊去啊？安妮問道。
No, he has a broken leg from a sled accident, said Oki. But I am not afraid to go alone.
唔係啊，佢因為一次呢滑雪事故導致腿骨折啦。OK 講到，但係我唔害怕獨自前往喎。
Jack and Annie hurried alongside Oki until they came to a shack on a spit of land near the frozen sea.
安妮
Chapter 3.
安妮呢同埋傑克呢緊隨奧基嘅腳步，一直走到一片靠近冰封大海嘅海峽長地帶嘅一個小屋裏面。
In the bright moonlight, Jack could see that the shack was made of old driftwood and flattened tin cans.
喺皎潔嘅月光底下，傑克可以睇到嗰間小屋係用舊木板同埋壓扁嘅易拉罐建成嘅。
Smoke was rising out of a stovepipe on the roof.
屋頂上嘅煙窗裏面冒出滾滾嘅濃煙。
This is my uncle's house, said Oki, and those are his huskies.
呢一個就叔叔嘅屋企啦。OK 講到嗰啲就係佢嘅哈士奇犬。
Next to the small house was a dog pen surrounded by a wire fence.
喺嗰座小屋子嘅旁邊有一個狗舍，四周圍都圍住咗鐵絲網。
A dog sled was inside the pen. 8 huskies were sleeping in the snow, their dark bodies curled up together to keep warm.
狗舍裏面呢有一輛狗拉雪橇，8隻哈士奇正喺雪地裏面瞓覺，佢哋烏黑嘅身體蜷縮喺一齊以保持溫暖。
Oh wow! breathed Annie. The dogs
哇！安妮輕聲講到。
woke up at the sound of voices.
嗰啲狗呢聽到聲音就醒咗啦。
They leapt to their feet and began yipping and whining.
佢哋呢猛地跳起身嚟，開始狂吠同埋哀鳴啊！
Hi guys, Annie said. She hurried to the fence to pet them.
佢呢急忙去到圍欄旁邊去撫摸佢哋。
Careful, said Oki. They are very strong. They can jump up.
小心啊！我記講到佢哋非常強壯啊，佢哋可以跳起嚟。
But Annie has an instant connection with the dogs.
但係呢，安妮立刻就同你啲狗建立咗聯繫啦。
You're so beautiful, she said, reaching over the fence and rubbing different furry heads. Hey, what's your name? What's your name?
佢講到呢，伸手越過欄山，撫摸住唔同嘅毛鬆鬆嘅腦袋，話：哇！你哋真係好靚啊！你哋叫咩名啊？你哋叫咩名啊？
As Annie spoke, the dog flattened their ears and their lips curved into his smiles.
安妮講嘢嘅時候呢，嗰啲狗都豎起耳朵，裂嘴呢亦都露出咗笑容啦。
They really like her, Oki said to Jackie. He sounded impressed.
哇！佢哋睇起嚟真係好中意佢喎。我記對傑克講到，佢聽起嚟呢頗為欽佩 Annie 啊。
Yeah, Annie has a special way with animals, said Jack, especially dogs. Oh,
係啊，安妮同埋動物打交道真係好有天賦㗎。傑克講到，尤其是係對狗呢種動物啊。
Kay smiled for the first time. Do you and Eddie want to come inside and get warm? He said.
OK，第一次露出咗笑容。你同安妮要唔要入嚟暖和一下？佢講到。
Sure. Thanks, said Jack.
當然啦，多謝你啊！傑克講到。
Jack and Annie followed the Alaskan boy into the shack.
傑克同埋安妮跟住嗰個阿拉斯加男孩走入咗嗰個小屋度。
Inside, a lantern lit a drafty room that smelled of fish and kerosene.
屋裏面一盞油燈照亮咗一間漏風嘅房間，房間裏面彌漫住魚腥味同埋煤油味。
Scratchy band. Music came from a wooden radio with big knots.
一台帶有大旋鈕嘅木製收音機裏面傳來刺耳嘅音樂聲。
I must speak to my uncle. He's in bed, said Oki. He opened a door and slipped into another room.
我得去同叔叔講説話，佢而家呢淨係躺喺床上休息啊。奧基講到，佢打開一扇門，走進咗另一個房間。
Jack and Annie looked around.
Jack 同埋安妮呢環顧四周。
Strips of dried duck pink fish hung from a rack near the stove, which was made from an old metal barrel.
幾條枯乾嘅深粉紅色魚肉從靠近爐灶嘅架子上垂掛住。嗰個爐灶係用一個舊金屬桶改造而成嘅。
Wooden barrels were set as chairs around a wooden table.
木桶被擺放成椅子嘅形式，圍咗喺一張木桌嘅周圍。
Voices came from the other room. Jack recognized Oki's. But I can go alone.
從另一個房間傳嚟咗聲音啊！ 傑克認出嗰一把呢係奧基嘅聲音，但係我可以自己去啊。
No, you cannot set a deep rasping voice.
唔可以啊，你唔可以啊！一個低沉沙啞嘅聲音講到。
Jack wondered if he and Annie should leave.
阿傑克喺度諗，究竟佢同安妮係咪應該離開呢？
It seemed wrong to overhear a family argument. Let's go outside, he said to Annie. But
聽住人哋家庭爭吵，實在唔係好合適啊。於是佢對安妮講：我哋出去啦。
we have to help fight the epidemic.
但係我哋必須參加抗擊呢一場嘅疫情工作喎。佢講到。
She said, I know. Maybe it would be better to go back to the hospital. Listen, Annie interrupted.
我知道啊，傑克講到，或者最好係返去醫院啦。聽住啊，安妮打斷佢。
She pointed to the radio.
佢指向咗收音機。
The music had stopped.
嗰啲音樂呢，戛然而止啦。
A news bulletin had come on.
隨後傳嚟一則新聞報導。
A desperate drama is unfolding in Alaska.
阿拉斯加正喺度上演一場驚心動魄嘅戲劇啊！
In the town of Nome, the broadcaster said.
就喺落姆鎮咋，播音員講。
Nome, said Annie. She turned up the volume on the radio.
落姆，安妮講到，佢將收音機嘅音量呢調大咗啦。
All eyes are on this small, ice-bound town in the Northern Territory.
所有人嘅目光都聚焦喺呢一座位於北部地區嘅冰鎮小鎮上。
Where an outbreak of diphtheria has already claimed the 5 lives.
嗰度已經爆發咗白喉疫情，而有5人喪生啊。
20 of the best mushers and more than 160 dogs have been heroically running a relay across the frozen tundra.
20名頂尖嘅訓犬員以及超過160隻狗，正喺度英勇咁樣進行接力賽跑，穿越呢一片冰封嘅荒原啊！
They must travel a total of 600 miles to get medicine from the Nenana, Alaska, to the town of Nome.
佢哋必須跋涉600英里，將從阿拉斯加內納納運嚟嘅藥品送到洛米鎮啊！
That's us, said Oki, hurrying back into the room.
嗰個就係我哋啦，奧基講到，匆匆呢返去房間裏面。
But now a blizzard threatens to curtail the efforts to save the residents of Nome, the announcer said.
播音員講到，但係眼下一場暴風雪有可能會阻礙救援諾姆居民嘅工作。
The storm is expected to sweep down from the Arctic with 40-mile-per-hour winds and temperatures as low as 30 degrees below zero.
呢場風暴預計將從北極地區席捲而嚟，風速可達到每小時40英里，氣温甚至會低至-30度喎。
Oh man said Jack, it is unclear whether the mushers and their
Oh man， 天啊！傑克講到，目前呢尚唔清楚呢啲訓犬員係唔係
teams of heroic dogs will be able to continue, the announcer said.
而家呢，佢哋英勇嘅犬隊究竟能唔能夠繼續前行呢？嗰個報導員講。
The medicine is now in the hands of champion musher Gunnar Carson. Will he and his lead dog Balto be forced to stop their life-saving journey?
藥物而家已經交到冠軍訓犬員貢納爾卡森手中，佢同佢嘅領頭犬巴爾托係唔係會被迫停止呢一場拯救生命嘅行程呢？
Balto, said Annie. Didn't we see a statue of him in Central Park in New York?
巴爾托，安妮講到，我哋唔係喺紐約嘅中央公園見過佢嘅雕像咩？
Yeah, but I can't remember why he's so famous.
係啊，但我唔記得點解佢會咁出名啊！傑克講到。
said Jack. Me neither, said Annie.
我都係啊，傑克講。安妮講到。
Will the blizzard keep the medicine from getting to the sick and dying in Nome?
播音員講到，呢場暴風雪會唔會阻礙藥品運往諾姆市嗰啲患病同埋垂死嘅人手中呢？
the announcer said. It's a race against time, a waste against death.
播音員講到呢一個係一場與時間嘅賽跑，一場與死亡嘅較量啊。
Then the man's voice turned cheerful, and now we return to the music of King Oliver's Creole jazz band.
隨後男聲變得歡快起嚟啦。而家讓我哋翻去奧利弗爵士嘅克里奧爾爵士樂團嘅音樂當中。
The lively music came back on, and Oki turned the radio off.
歡快嘅音樂又響起嚟啦。奧基呢關掉咗收音機。
I'm going. I'm taking the dogs, he said.
我要走啦，我要帶住嗰啲狗啊，佢講。
He grabbed a burlap sack hanging near the door and started filling it with dried fish.
佢呢找起咗掛喺門邊嘅一個麻袋，開始呢往裡面呢裝一啲乾嘅魚。
I'll take this to feed them along the way. I'll find Carson. I know.
我呢會將呢啲帶喺路上用嚟餵佢哋嘅。我會揾到卡森㗎，我知道。
Do not go, please.
唔好走啊！求下你啊！
Jack and Annie turned to see a native Alaskan man hobbling into the room on the crouch.
傑克同埋安妮轉過頭去睇到一位土生土長嘅阿拉斯加男仔拎住拐杖滿山咁樣走入房間。
He had long jet black hair and wore a fur pullover with a hood.
佢有住長長嘅烏黑頭髮，身穿帶有毛兜嘅皮毛上衣。
He had a weathered face and dark eyes.
佢有住臉部歲月嘅痕跡，眼睛深邃漆黑。
He barely glanced at Jack and Annie as he fixed his gaze on Oki.
佢幾乎冇睇到傑克同埋安妮一眼，而係將目光鎖定喺奧基身上。
Gunnar Kasson and Balto cannot travel in this weather. Neither can you.
如果古納爾卡森同埋巴爾托喺呢一個天氣下都無法行動，咁你哋亦都唔能夠啊！佢講到。
He said, I can at least try, Uncle Joe, said Oki. I have to. He kept throwing fish into the sack.
我至少可以試一試啊，喬叔叔，奧基講到，我必須咁做啊！佢不停嘅咁樣將魚掉進袋子入邊。
Do not go out there alone, Oki, rasped his uncle. You are not a champion like Sapala or Kasson.
奧基，你唔好獨自去啊！佢嘅叔叔粗聲講到，你唔會好似塞帕拉或者卡森咁樣冠軍級別嘅選手啊！
And none of my dogs are as strong as Togo or Balto.
而且我嗰啲狗都不如哥托或者巴爾托咁樣咁強壯啊！
It doesn't matter how great Kasson is,
卡森再厲害都冇用啦，奧基講到。
said Oki. If he is sitting at the roadhouse in Solomon,
只要佢仲喺索利蒙嘅旅店嗰度喺度等緊。
if he waits for good reason.
如果佢真係要等啊，佢一定係有住充分嘅理由㗎。奧基嘅叔叔講到。
said Oki's uncle. Any team can be lost in a blizzard.
任何一支隊伍都可能喺暴風雪中遇到失敗㗎。
Let me go, please, said Oki, facing his uncle.
讓我走啦，求下你啦！奧基睇住佢嘅叔叔講到。
No, shouted the man.
唔可以啊！嗰個男人大聲咁講。
Jack held his breath as he looked back and forth from Oki to his uncle.
傑克呢，屏住呼吸，來回注視住奧基同埋佢嘅叔叔。
Annie started to interrupt, but Jack shook his head at her. This isn't our business, he thought.
安妮想要插話，但係傑克卻搖咗搖頭，制止咗佢。呢個與我哋無關啊！佢心裏面想着。
I have run the trail many times, said Oki. I can do it with my eyes closed.
呢條小路我行過好多次啦，奧基講到，閉住眼睛我都能夠走完啊。
But I have always been with you, his uncle said. You have never gone out alone.
但係我一直都喺你身邊啊，佢嘅叔叔講，你從來未試過獨自外出過啊。
I have to try, said Oki.
我必須要嘗試啊，奧基講到。
Who will help you in a whiteout?
喺呢個暴風雪中，邊個會嚟幫助你啊？
His uncle asked. Who will help you if the ice breaks and moves out to sea? You will be gone forever.
如果冰層破裂並飄向大海，邊個會嚟幫助你啊？你會永遠消失㗎。
Maybe, but what about my mother?
或者啦，咁我媽媽點算啊？
Oki cried. And my sister? They can't breathe.
仲有我嘅妹妹呢？奧奇喊到，佢哋都冇辦法呼吸啦。
They can't swallow. They are on fire with fever.
佢哋都冇辦法進食，因為高燒呢而全身燃燒般咁樣疼痛啊！
I promised them the medicine would arrive tonight.
我答應佢哋，今晚就可以將藥送到佢哋度啦。
If it doesn't come soon, they will be gone forever.
如果佢哋啲藥仲唔能夠到嘅話，佢哋就會永遠離開人世啦。
I have to hurry. You heard the radio.
我要趕緊行動啊！你都聽到廣播嘅消息啦。
It's a race against death.
呢個係一場與死亡嘅賽跑啊！
Oki slung the sack of dried fish over his shoulder, picked up the kerosene lantern from the table, and hurried outside. In the bright moonlight,
奧基將嗰袋乾魚抬喺肩上，從桌子上拎起油燈，匆匆走咗出去。第3章完。究竟奧基能唔能夠完成任務呢？喺-30至40度嘅情況底下，小朋友你哋試過未啊？你知唔知-30同埋-40度究竟有幾凍呢？而喺一個冰封嘅大海當中，你又敢唔敢拖住一班狗出去完成呢個任務啊？我哋呢敬請期待第4章接下落嚟嘅故事內容。下集再見，拜拜。